Okay, question 17. You have 30 seconds. Maintaining equity among our district sites, and in particular among our 3 elementary schools, is often cited as a reason for not enhancing programs at a particular site. Do you believe that our sites tend to suffer from significant equity issues arising from differences in their programs? In order to maintain equity going forward, would you favor lowering the standards of better programs or improving the standards of struggling programs? Starting with Mary.
They are going to suffer from equity issues just because of the different sites and what they have available to them. Like I know at Forum9 they have swimming during PE because they have the pool right there, and that's just not possible to do at River or Captain Cooper. As far as maintaining the equity going forward, I would be for improving the standards of the struggling programs and also taking a look at why those programs are struggling.
Well, nobody's going to be in favor of lowering the standards of effective programs. One of the things, though, that's interesting about this question is the difference in communities. Torrecitos in the village is very different than Captain Cooper down the coast and River School in Carmel. It's a very diverse community, and I think that that is part of the issue. One of the things I would like to see is that the special qualities of those communities and what's important to each of them is okay to fund. They don't all have to be the same.
Yes, this was an issue some years ago, but I don't believe it's much of an issue now. As Carl said, there are differences among the communities, and those should be celebrated, and the areas that communities like to concentrate on, they should. We had programs at River School. We started the garden, so it moved out to Tular, and the district took it over. And of course, we don't lower the standards of our better programs. It's obvious.
Yes, I agree too. I am for improving the standards for struggling programs. And as far as equity of the different schools, it was kind of like children. All the children are different. I have 4 children. All 4 of them are completely different, even though I thought they would be exactly the same because I raised them the same way. But two Larcitos, they offer different field trips than River School. They have a swimming pool out there. Big Sur has their different programs that they have down there. So I think all the sites do the best that they can with what they have, and I think they're doing a good job.
I agree that we wouldn't want to lower standards. We want to continue improving standards. And also, as many have said before me, I think we should try to maintain the unique qualities of each of our individual districts, each of our individual schools, because that's what makes them special. And I don't think we have to have every school be identical. That's what makes them unique, and I think we should keep them separate.
Okay, this is question 18. I'll go to Carl first, and you have 30 seconds. Las Lomitas School District in the Bay Area charges about $5 per school lunch, has an outside vendor serving high-quality food, and makes a profit on each meal. Whereas Carmel Unified charges about $3 per school lunch, has inadequate or non-existent food handling facilities serving lower quality food, and suffers a substantial financial loss on each meal since they cost the district over $4 to provide. Given the school district's responsibility for student health and well-being, do you pledge, once elected, to take leadership role in improving the quality of school lunches, and would you be willing to consider scenarios using outside vendors? 30 seconds.
First of all, the quality of food, I can only speak to the high school, because when I was at the middle school, it was pretty bad. But it's improved significantly at Carmel High. They have a fresh salad bar that's incredible. They have lots of choices for students, hot and cold, and I have not been disappointed with what's been going on with the food offerings at CHS. Whether they can be provided at a lower cost, I think you always look at that, and if it can be done more efficiently, you look at that too.
This reminds me over the last 10 years of attending board meetings, how many hours we spend on this issue. No, I will not pledge to take a leadership role. There are other things I will take a leadership role on. This is not one of them, but I will support whatever efforts are made to improve the quality of our school lunches. And yes, I would absolutely be willing to consider using outside vendors, whatever it takes to improve the lunches. But I'll tell you one thing, you can't force kids to eat the carrots that come in the healthy lunches. I eat carrots.
Yes, I would be willing to help provide better lunches for our schools. Since moving here about 6-7 years ago, our lunches have gone, on a kind of a roller coaster ride. Some years are good, some years are bad. I don't know what it is at this point. I think it's still kind of okay. They need to be looked into. We live in a wonderful, gorgeous area with lots of organic, natural foods, and we need to bring that to our schools. As far as the cost goes, I'd like to increase it to $5, but I did go on the My School website last night, and the kids were complaining about $3 and how expensive that was. So we still need to look into that.
I think we have to be careful about raising our school lunches to $5. We would have to look at what our families can afford. Those students who are the lowest possible already get free lunch, and so even if we charge more, they would get the free lunch anyway. But there's a whole bunch of students who are in the middle who may think that the difference between $3 and $5 is huge. I would consider an outside vendor. We've already used one, but it was kind of disastrous, so we would have to be careful about that as well.
I would definitely be willing to take a look at the school's hot lunch program, and I would definitely be willing to look at using outside vendors. We have a local one, Dory Ford, who provides lunch for, I think it's Stevenson School, and it's healthy food, it's organic food, and I don't know what the cost per lunch is, but it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay, question 19, you have a minute and a half. Though informed opinions are crucial to board deliberations, actions can speak louder than words. Give a concrete example where you have taken initiative as a leader on a successful project for the benefit of a school. Also give a concrete example of how, once elected, you plan to take initiative as a leader on a project for the benefit of the district. And this starts with you, Richard.
And before you start, I want to collect all the final cards. So anyone who has a card, I will randomize these and get them on that. Anyone else? Great, thanks.
I was looking forward to this question because I had forgotten until we went to until the last board meeting at River School. I reinitiated the after-school enrichment program at Carmel River School, I think about 4 years ago. We had a few after-school enrichment classes. We didn't have a program, and I took it upon myself. I was vice president, I believe I was vice president of the PTA at that point, and we went out to Tubercitos, which had a wonderful program. They've had after-school enrichment, which has been continuous for years. Used that as a model. Got Julie Larimer to manage it, and I'm very proud of that, to hear that it's still going, it's going strong. I taught a couple of those classes a few years ago, the flight classes. Anybody here have children who were in those classes? Remember the shooting off the rockets? That was just wonderful. So that's a concrete thing, and I'm very proud of it, and it's still going. And it's basically you, the parents, and Julie who are managing that program beautifully. Going forward, I spoke about this a little earlier. I am interested in providing our students with the ability, with the experience to be able to get a job aside from their college preparation, and that means classes in business, letting them become interns in the community, and work in a trade that can be used in this community.
I'm going to say ditto to that because actually I was the president at the time of the after-school enrichment program. So I also helped you with the getting that off the ground and having Julie Larimer as the coordinator, and she still is. As far as initiatives for the district, the two main ones that I'd like to work on is the vocational aspect of it, and bringing that to the high school, and helping kids who are have other interests besides college for their life goals. And the second one is to tackle our drug and alcohol and bullying issues at our high school.
Since I've been on the board for a long time, it's there are a number, but I'll just choose a few. The first one that I would like to highlight is bringing up the idea of having the UC CSU entrance requirements as the Carmel High School graduation requirements. Back in 1993, when I was first elected, I thought, as a school board member, you just said, "Hey, I want to do this." It didn't actually happen until the class of 2010. Many years later. It took a lot of groundwork to do that because we needed to set up the programs in our elementary schools to feed into the middle school and then on to the high school. But eventually we got our percentages up for qualification to the UC CSU system from 50% to over 75%, an increase of 50%. I also brought a program called AVID to our high school, which I heard about at one of our conferences. It's called Advancement via Individual Determination, and it's a program that promotes underrepresented students to help prepare them to go to college. I also last year brought the savings for a bond refunding to our district, which allowed $2.4 million to be brought back to our taxpayers.
I was the chess club coordinator for 2 years at Carmel River School before it was taken over by the after-school enrichment program, and the price jumped from $45 a session to $70. I attempted to start a parent support group for parents of special ed students district-wide, but we had very limited interest in that, and I'm going to be looking at starting that up again, whether I'm elected or not. And I helped put on an ability awareness training out at Carmel a couple of years ago. I would really like to see the bullying and drug and alcohol issues at the high school taken care of. I would definitely be willing to take that on. I think a lot of the extracurricular programs could possibly be better developed if kids felt safer participating in them. I've been in those science classrooms at the high school, and they do need help. They're in poor shape. The AVID. I would like to see the AVID classes expanded. That's a wonderful program. And I think that more kids should be allowed into it. It's very small right now, and right now they have the biggest class that they've ever had. And I think a lot of kids would benefit from that, just as a lot of kids would benefit from the vocational training courses that should be run.
Yeah, regarding AVID, when we lost AVID at Carmel Middle School, I think it had a pretty sizable impact on AVID at the high school. Regarding the accomplishments or achievements, I think one of the important things I did at the high school was convince the district to allow us to have a drug and alcohol counselor who had an MSW, Master of Social Work, as opposed to a PPS, Pupil Personnel Services credential, because those type of counselors schedule classes. The type that we brought on is an expert at dealing with alcohol, substance abuse issues, and thank you, district, for supporting that. But I think as far as signature programs, I'm just going to name two. One very dear to my heart is the auto shop at the high school, and those that know me know I'm a big auto buff, maybe too big. But in working with the Concorso Italiano, we were able to get $75,000 from them to upgrade all the equipment in there. All digital wheel balancers and all kinds of really up-to-date stuff that the kids just love to use. welding equipment, MIG welding, TIG welding, you name it. So I did that, but I think without a doubt, the most significant contribution of project that I spearheaded was the Hilton Biolek Habitat project at Carmel Middle School, where really me and one other teacher, Greg Hornberger, and the support from that science department, took that project to the board against a recommendation to do it. And we just kept hanging in there and said, we're doing it. And look what we have now.